So yes, it is true, we have come to the end of the league football season. The English Premier League, La Liga, Serie A and the Bundesliga all played their final games this weekend for the 2015-2016 campaign. And yes, I'm already counting down the days for when they return, which will be on August 13, exactly 89 days from now. But when you say it like that, it actually doesn't seem so far away. But they will be missed. Thankfully, we have the Copa America, Euro 2016 and the Olympics to pull us through. In the EPL, the biggest talking points were the fight for second and third spot, as well as the final UCL fourth spot. Spurs were away to relegated Newcastle and started this weekend in second place with 70 points, and a victory would seal the spot, allowing them to finish above Arsenal for the first time in over 30 years. Final score in this one, Newcastle 5, Tottenham 1. Spurs, come on! After that draw to Chelsea, which you gave up the EPL title, it was like you had no more fight in you. And with 2 straight defeats preceding that, it really wasn't a good way to end the season. Arsenal came up against bottom of the table Aston Villa and they demolished them 4-0. Giroud scoring a hat-trick, which means Arsenal finished second with 71 points and Spurs finished third with 70 points. So I guess this means that Arsenal fans are stuck with Arsene Wenger for one more season? Guess time will tell. Champions Leicester City took on last year's champs Chelsea. Fabregas opened the scoring in the 66th minute, but Danny Drinkwater scored a thunderous cane, only his second goal for the season, but it was one to remember. Leveling the scores, and that's how the game finished, 1 goal apiece. Well, let's focus on the Manchester clubs. With United losing to West Ham in last week's midweek's action, it gave City the opportunity to seal their fate. They took on a mediocre Swansea City, and the final score in this one was 1-1. This puts them 3 points ahead of United and all but seals that fourth spot. Manchester United, however, took on newcomers Bournemouth, who have had a great season, by the way. Great job to the Cherries for staying up even though the odds were stacked against you. Now, unfortunately, this game had to be abandoned due to a suspect package found in the bathroom stall. Now, I know that sounds really weird. You will hear a lot more about this in this week's Pitch on the News with Renato Singh. So United hope for qualifying for the UCL is more or less done and dusted. They are a point behind City, and even with a win, they are still 19 goals behind on goal difference. So basically, just beat Bournemouth by 19-0, and that fourth spot is yours. So that's it for the EPL season this year. Leicester City are champions with 81 points, followed by Arsenal in second place with 71 points, Spurs in third with 70, City in fourth with 66, West Ham finished in 7th place, Liverpool in 8th, and Chelsea in 10th. Newcastle, Norwich and Aston Villa are all relegated. An amazing season, and I'm sure no one would have predicted this final table standings. Over in Spain, the title came down to the last day. Barcelona just needed to better Real Madrid's scoreline and the title would be theirs for a second year in a row. The Catalans in action versus Granada and the Madristas took on Deportivo La Coruña. Real Madrid drew first blood with CR7 scoring in the 7th minute and 15 minutes later scored his second, putting pressure on Barcelona to get a victory, but Suarez decided to score a hat-trick, securing the La Liga title. And with those 3 goals, he seals the Patriti Award for the most goals scored in La Liga. For the past 8 years, the title has been won by either Messi or Ronaldo, so it's nice to see a new name among the old ones. But CR7, not to be left out, has now scored more than 50 goals in each of his last 6 seasons with Real Madrid. But all the praise belongs to Barcelona, their 22nd La Liga title. Also, Barcelona can win the double as they play Sevilla next week in the Copa del Rey finals. In Serie A, the race to finish second came down to the last day, with Napoli ahead of Roma by 2 points. A victory would seal that spot for them. They took on relegated Frosinone, while Roma took on AC Milan. Roma got the job done with a 3-1 victory over AC Milan, with the hope that Napoli would somehow slip up again. Final score in that game, Napoli 4, Frosinone 0, which means Maurizio Sarri's men will finish in second place. Already crowned champions, Juventus finished their season on a high with a 5-0 victory over Sampdoria, while 4th place Inter Milan ended their season on a low, losing 3-1 to 6th place Sassuolo. Big shout out to Gonzalo Higuain, who scored the most goals with 36, almost doubling 2nd place Pablo Dybala tally of 19. Higuain had an amazing season, also breaking the record for the most goals scored in a Serie A campaign set back in 1950 with 35 goals. Will he stay at Napoli? I'm pretty sure Arsenal fans would have loved those 36 goals for them. Over in Paris, Zlatan Ibrahimović played his last game for PSG in a 4-0 win over Nantes. Zlatan also became PSG's top scorer for a single season with 38 goals. He left to a standing ovation and walked off the field with his 2 sons. He tweeted, "I came as a king and left as a legend." Spoken like a true Zlatan. In Germany, Bayern Munich are champions for a 4th time in a row. That's a new record, by the way, the first team to ever accomplish that. And they end on a high with a 3-1 win over Hanover, while Dortmund drew with Köln 2-2. Bayern finished on top with 88 points, while Dortmund finished in second with 78. Robert Lewandowski wins the top scorer award with 30 goals. This is Bayern Munich's 25th Bundesliga title. Yeah, don't ask. Bayern, stick to the football.